Welcome back to Media7. If you get the Sunday Star Times, you may or may not have noticed that one sheet, 4 pages, was missing from the paper's Sunday magazine recently. And the management decision to rip it out didn't come cheap. Why did it happen and how unusual was it? Our reporter Simon Pound found out.
3 weeks ago, the Sunday magazine had this ripping process repeated 200,000 plus times, removing the editorial and the ads that went with it. What was so offensive?
We understand that the editorial contained the C word, used in a sexually graphic manner. I've written the sentence as we understand it on the back of this bit of paper. Would the average person be offended? Hello, can I ask you a question? No, okay, thank you then. Would I be able to show you a sentence? It's a bit rough. It was going to be in Sunday magazine. I end up having to pull the editorial.
Okie dokie. And where was this going to be?
It was going to be in Sunday magazine and the Sunday Star Times.
Okay,
Which
so
part?
sealed section?
No, just straight out there.
Okay, so no.
Sucking on my... No, I think it's a bit rough.
Yeah, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
So what are you saying?
Well, I'm just wondering, would that be appropriate inside a Sunday paper?
No.
No. So they made the right call.
They did.
Yes.
Sunday and the Sunday Star Times are subject to the principles of the New Zealand Press Council, who have never had to rule on the C word or the F word.
Even if they did receive such a complaint and upheld it, the New Zealand Press Council have no powers to fine.
So with no threat of a fine, and although letters were blotted out of that C word, Fairfax management still decided to pull.
In some ways it was a very easy decision for our senior team here to make, because we value our readers and we value our advertisers, and we just felt that we couldn't expose them to that material, that would have been inappropriate. So while it was a significant step to take, there was no doubt it was the right one, and we didn't have any doubt in our mind that we were doing the right thing.
They shouldn't be putting that sort of stuff in magazines that everyone reads.
If a little kid reads it, yes, it's offensive. An adult reads it, no, it's not.
Should it be in a newspaper, do you think?
No, it shouldn't. No.
You need that in the R18 right there.
Oh, no, that's not suitable.
No, it's not. It's not,
I
is
don't
it?
think so.
Which meant ripping, lots of ripping. Now let's say you could rip 5 a minute, 700 hours at $17 an hour. Our very conservative estimate for labour alone is about $12,000.
A big job. If it was just me doing 8 hours a day, it would take 17 and a half weeks.
So it's big, and it's rare. The only other major example we found is this Herald supplement for APEC 99. This image was deemed bad taste with a crop of world leaders in town. Former Herald Editor-in-Chief Gavin Ellis.
I think it went beyond the point with which our paper should have been associated, and therefore pulped it. It cost many thousands of dollars to reprint it without that illustration. If I was presented with the same problem again today, would I make the same decision? Absolutely.
Then there's student media, known for pushing the boundaries. In 2002, Auckland uni mag Crackham printed a recipe for pea. This got the whole mag pulled. But it is now 2008. With changing standards, could the C word ever be considered acceptable?
Personally, I don't think it would be appropriate to publish that word in a mass medium newspaper or magazine. We all know standards of quality of language changes over time and these things shift, but I think there is still a real taboo around certain words.
I don't believe in New Zealand at this time that in general circulation, daily or indeed weekly newspapers, it has a place. That's not to say that we shouldn't debate whether it has a place. I think that's a good debate to have. But let's have the debate before we run the word, not after it.
Fairfax agree. They just caught it this time.
We're obviously reviewing how it happened and strengthening our systems and processes around it, because you hope to learn something from something like this, and we're certainly making sure that happens.
So, ultimately, what did that lesson cost? If, in ripping the C word out, they also ripped 2 pages of ads, which have to be rerun, that's about $37,000 in lost ad space. Plus labour, and we estimate this may have been a $50,000 blunder. Or perhaps you could look at it as a mighty big addition to the swear jar.
That report from Simon Pound. Interestingly, official broadcasting standards are much more flexible than those that usually apply in print. So, after 9:30 and in context, I can say the word that caused all the trouble. But my mum's watching. Panellists, I scrawled it down there and I showed you the offending phrase. Would you have done what Paul Thompson did and take a 50k dip to rip it out? Chris?
Well, I would have. I think it was just too offensive. I think it breached everyone's sense of decency. I'm not sure that there'd be too many people that would want to have that in the newspaper. I certainly wouldn't want my children reading it.
Mark, you're on TV.
After 9:30, I think you could have a debate about it, but in a newspaper, absolutely the right decision.
Yeah, well, your channel ran Sex and the City, which did actually use that word. Yeah. Glenda, what do you think?
Well, I'm sorry, I've got to agree with these two. Absolutely, I don't think it was appropriate to be in there, and I think that they were very brave and did the right thing.
Interesting thing is, of course, that Paul Thompson was a newspaper editor who did run the Danish cartoons in the press. So he wasn't too worried about offending people then.